Well, hey there guys, it's your favorite backyard geographer. I was out in the garage going through my junk and I thought of you. Back on July 17th, 1955, an opening day attraction at Disneyland, California would enable people of all ages an opportunity to drive a miniature multi-lane limited access highway, even before President Eisenhower would sign the Interstate Highway Legislation Act. For many, this would be their first experience driving on a highway, but for most, it was also their first driver's license. Come join me as I share some original 1955 Disneyland Autopia memorabilia and driver's license. So to begin our story, the Richfield Oil Company would be the initial sponsor for the attraction at Disneyland, California. In fact, they would partner with Western Printing, the producer of Dell Comics and the Little Golden Books, to create an official Adventure in Disneyland comic book that was available to Richfield oil-carrying service stations across the United States before the park's actual opening. It was released May of 1955. The stylized cover offered features of the park's various lands. Now, the comic book itself is about a family from outer space who became lost in space and decided to stop at Earth to see its new offering, Disneyland. So I have that comic book here, and I love the cover because the cover really paints a picture of what to expect at Disneyland. As you can see, you've got the Moonliner, Frontierland, Adventureland, a little bit of everything. Again, what was fun is that these comic books were made to be free. The Richfield company paid for them, and they were available wherever Richfield gas stations were available or other partners. So like hotels and stuff like that, they would have been in the lobby before the park opening to really entice and drive that traffic. So to speak to just some of the elements of the comic, I just love the artwork, the design. So here they are, this family from outer space, and they land on Earth to visit Disneyland for their grand opening, and here they are riding on the Congo Queen on the Jungle Cruise. They get to go to all the different lands throughout the park and experience really just what it is that you would experience if you were to attend at opening day. The last page of the comic book itself, it says, when you visit Disneyland, not only can you ride the Richfield Autopia, but you can see the official Richfield Oil exhibit, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Fun fact, Richfield Oil Company began back in 1905 and would later merge with the Atlantic Refining Company in 1966, which would essentially provide the R to the famous Arco company. Also, if you remember the 1990s television series, Dinosaurs, all the dinosaurs were named after original big oil companies. The main character, Earl Sinclair, worked for the famous BP Richfield. Now, to speak to this next piece, this is an original pamphlet that would have been available at Disneyland. So if it would have been closed like this. So Richfield would also sponsor a new show that would debut there in Tomorrowland. It was called The World Beneath Us, which was located directly across from the 20,000 Leagues attraction. It was there from 1955 to 1960. Now, Walt wanted to include a show about the past in Tomorrowland to create a striking difference between where we've come from and where we're going. So Richfield Oil jumped at that opportunity to sponsor the show because they could also indirectly promote the origins of their own product. Richfield Oil placed ads in local newspapers just days before the park opened, suggesting specific routes on how to get to Disneyland to avoid the traffic. Now, despite its location in a land dedicated to the future, the world beneath us was largely about the past. The attraction had two main sections, a series of dioramas and a movie. The dioramas depicted the earth beneath the city of Los Angeles, complete with tectonic plates that periodically simulated earthquakes. Every quarter hour, guests could move into the theater and watch a 12-minute cartoon about the beginnings of the world, exploding volcanoes, the rise of continents, and even the onset of dinosaurs. At the end of the show, guests would return back into Tomorrowland with a very different and new perspective. After seeing the origin of the world, Disney's predictions for the future became even more exciting. So again, I've got this beautiful pamphlet. As you can see, we've got our little woolly mammoth. It says, see us at the Richfield show at Disneyland. Then you would open it up. I just love this artwork. Primeval world. Don't miss The World Beneath Us, the spectacular free Richfield show in Tomorrowland at Disneyland. And it kind of gives some background information, and then it says here, remember, you haven't really seen Disneyland until you've seen the Richfield show. And then you flip to the back, and then it says, hey, also while you're at Disneyland and you check out our show, don't forget to check out the official Richfield Autopia, which is what's going to bring us into my next piece that I really wanted to share. I'm just going to keep that open. I just love that artwork. So now back to Autopia. So with the financial help of Richfield Oil and the auto design by Disney legend Bob Gurr, Autopia became one of the most popular attractions at the park. Guests would speed along swiftly at 7 miles an hour on nearly a half a mile of racetrack. So this license right here that I'm holding here, this was from the 1955, but it is the second series that was mass produced, and it was used until 1960. The original one actually had a white castle right behind it in the middle. So I wanted to speak to this license because, as you can see, this belonged to someone, Marilyn Knight. It says, this certifies that the undersigned has successfully passed the safe driver's test for the Richfield Autopia at Disneyland. And you flip it around to the back. Marilyn received this August 12th, 1958. She was 15 years old. Height, she left that blank. Weight, left that blank. But she has green eyes and blonde hair. And it says, now that you've driven in the Autopia and you realize the extreme importance and courtesy of driving, whether you are crossing streets, riding a bike, or even driving a car, fill out this card for permanent identification and carry it with you. It entitles you to friendly, helpful service at Richfield stations throughout the West. And what I love about this one in particular is you can actually see right here, it looks like a blue denim stain. So Marilyn must have put this in her little wallet and just carried it with her for who knows how long. But I just think that's really a great part of Disney past and history. Now, something else that I wanted to point out, I've heard, it could be urban legend or lore, but I heard that, especially at the beginning, Richfield Oil told Walt, we really don't want to produce these anymore because it's a cost, it's expensive. And Walt said, absolutely, you will produce these. If I have to pay for them out of my own pocket, I will produce driver's license for everyone, because this was such an important part of so many people's childhood to earn their first driver's license. And so that is why till today you can still get your driver's license. Well, that being said, maybe you learned something new about Richfield Oil and the Autopia. Maybe you still have one of your original driver's license from that attraction. Be sure to like this video, comment below, and we'll talk soon. Richfield Oil. Oh.